Guys, John here. Bank of America just reported $131.6 billion in unrealized losses yesterday.
Bank of America, one of the worst performing bank stocks this year, down about 17%.
Those amounted to $131 billion in unrealized losses.
JP Morgan Chase sitting on over $40 billion in losses. The U.S. banking system is sitting on roughly $1.8 trillion in losses. And what's ultimately going to happen in the very near future is we're going to start to see, I believe, bank runs and a lot of people taking a lot of trust they had in the system out of the system. People are going to start to make different decisions because people are going to be very, very skeptical of what the future is going to look like and just how stable these financial institutions really are.
The message that sends is if you're a customer of a small bank, a regional bank, a community bank, and you've got a large account, you just better get your money out. There's no reason to leave it there. They can't pay you enough interest to compete with a money market. And what if the bank fails? You may be, SOL. And so there's a huge run, on these banks. So they're all going to fail. And the government, obviously, if it wants to bail out every one of these banks, the only way it can do it is by destroying the value of the deposits because of massive inflation. Because the money to bail out the banks has to be created by the Fed. It's the only way they're going to get it. The FDIC doesn't have any money.
Say Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I'm going to let it give double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations be to the hopeful elect brothers. New is in his gospel, brother, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will be edifying. As I see, it says Bank of America. Hold up, let me go back here. Yep, it says Bank of America reported $131.6 billion in unrealized losses yesterday, which a lot of these banks are collapsing. Like I was looking at a report yesterday, and they were talking about how all banks will pretty much, bank branches will be done between the year 2037 and 2042, I believe, to some regard. But back of my mind, I'm looking like this man doesn't have to the year 2042. Lord's will, he doesn't. Like, I can't imagine another 20 years here in Babylon the Great. Like, I just can't imagine. I would want to wish that scrutiny on anybody for real, because enough is enough, We're in the year 2023, fastly approaching 24, and things don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So, just my personal opinion, I believe that the market of MOTB will be here next year sometime. That's just my opinion. Not prophetic wise, but if things continue to go in the rate that they're going, and the BRICS go in line with their currency, you best believe that we're going to have a collapse sometime within a year or so. Okay, which technically they're in a collapse already. And all these things are being done by design, because for the simple fact, people... the elites are doing bank runs, so they're liquidating these banks and taking their stocks and their bonds, and they're getting it out and putting it in offshore accounts and subsidies and so forth, and they're taking money out of these banks, man. Like Bank of America was a big, prominent bank, I believe in the 90s, 2000s, even up until a few years ago. But if you're noticing, there's less and less branches of Banks of Americas now. They actually outsourcing a lot of ATMs. A lot of ATMs, which charges outrageous fees, but you don't really see too many of their ATMs around anymore. Okay, you may have Wells Fargo, you may have Commerce, you may have Central Bank and these other particular small branches, but these big ones, they're going offline, man. Like I went to ATM the other day to try to get some money out, and guess what? They was going to charge me $18 to taking my money out of their fucking bank. I'm like, you out your damn mind. I'm like, I'll drive 10 minutes up the street and get some money out for free before I sit up there and put myself in a hole paying these fees, which shows that the dollar is getting weak, man. Okay, because even in certain stores, like if you go to Family Dollar and you're trying to get cash back option, they'll charge you like $1 or like some interest in order to use your own money. Okay, that's another way of showing that this fiat currency is it's no good. Okay, so This is the scriptures, Zephaniah 1 and 10. It says, and it should come to pass in that day, says Yahweh, that there should be a noise and a cry from the fish gate, and a howling in from the second, and a great crashing from the hills, man. Okay, and when you look at hills or mountains or summits, you think of governments. Okay, it says a great crashing. Because what we know is Babylon the Great, these particular states, these cities, they're going to have a collapse, man. Okay, any day now, these major banks and this economy is just going to collapse. I was also looking up an article yesterday about Missouri, how the layoffs are getting like crazy, man. Okay, and these are things that they're not really reporting on mainstream news, but it's real bad out here. You know, people are quitting their jobs. They don't have hope anymore. They don't have faith in a failing system that's done nothing but bombarded them. They don't have faith in that. And you can't ask them to because, I mean, honestly speaking, Babylon the Great has not been good to Jake nor his own citizens. So, hey, your downfall is nigh. And this is all a run up in order to push the MOTB because they know they have to have some type of digital currency that's going to govern and dictate everybody's purchases, everybody's livelihoods. You know, like certain states now you can upload your driver's license and your credit card like digitally now. Okay, and this was all set up from the beginning, and we told you these things. We warned you of them. All right, so this is the book of Isaiah 19, and I'm going to start at verses And the paper by the reeds and the brooks and by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown in the brooks shall wither and be driven away and be no more, right? Because everything is going to be shut down. Okay, you're not going to have any type of economy for the most part here in America, but different parts of the world, you're going to have thriving economies to some degree, because they're going to still introduce the BRICS currency and the CBDCs and the MOTB. So people are going to still be doing what they do in different cultures or different countries. But over here in the West, it's going to be totally chaos, man. You know, because for the simple fact, hey, this is the place that the Lord has his judgment set on. Is America, Babylon the Great. You know. And it says, and the fishes shall mourn, and all they that cast an angle into the brook shall lament, and they that spread the nest upon the water shall languish. But moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, and all that makes sluices are ponds for fish. Okay, so that's the point. Your markets are going to be shut down, man. All right. 14, it says, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to earn every work thereof, as a drunken man staggering in his vomit. And like we said, a lot of these major banks are getting ready to shut. So, hey, if you got money in those banks and the time of a collapse comes, you're not going to be able to get your money out of there. You know, I believe the FDIC is what? The assurance is like, what, 250,000? So, like, if you had 2 million in there, then they're only liable to pay you up to 250,000. That's a huge loss, man. They're only liable to give you 10% of your money back. You know, and if you ain't got no money in there, then you're just pretty through. You know, like, what if you have $100 in the bank, what you may get cut a $10 check or something like that? Only liable to give you 200. I mean, 10%, because they're only liable to cover up to 250,000. So, hey, these banks are not smart, man. Well, you people are not smart. But it says, neither should that be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. Right, because the economy is going to come to some type of halt, abrupt halt. And yeah, you're going to have people working, like you're going to have like military personnel. You're going to have people in these FEMA camps. And also you're going to have what they called, what did we do that when the pandemic hit? You had, what's the name of that thing they call essential workers or something like that. You're going to have people that's going to be working for different organizations during a time of chaos, you know, but it's going to be for a purpose. But the average person in America not going to be getting up and going to work because they're going to be too busy in insurrection with government. Okay, people are going to rise up against this system sooner than later. But it says, neither should there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it should be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he's shaking over it, man. Okay, so this is all Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai's program, okay, to bring more confusion to this place, because the economy now is through, man. Okay, like gas went down a couple of cents because they're tapping into the reserves, which Biden screwed that up. But eventually, things are going to skyrocket once the reserves run out. It's going to skyrocket, man. All right. So this is the book of 2nd Esdras 16. And I'm going to start at verses 40. It says, O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Meaning we don't have to move around. Okay, you can't be subjected to one particular spot because of the chaos, let alone being in a city. It says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. And he that buyeth it, as one that will lose. And he that occupy merchandise, as he that have not profit by it. And he that buildeth, as he that should not dwell therein. And he that soweth, as if he should not reap. So also, he that planteth the vineyard, as he that should not gather the grapes. And they that marry, as they that should get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain, labor in vain. And you American people are laboring in vain. We all laboring in vain because it's stupid. You go to work, you stress out, you're still not able to make ends meet, you still taxed to death. It's to the point, like, I'm surprised people even still file their taxes anymore. Like, you people, if you really understood, you had a lot of power over the shit that goes on in this country, but you're not going to do it because you're the people at rest. You know, like, if everybody stopped going to work, then what they're going to do, arrest everybody? They're going to fire everybody? No. Okay, but you got a few Muslims here that's going to continue to hold up because, you know, they're afraid of losing what they got, which we ain't got shit. And it says here, for strangers should reap their fruits and spoil their goods and overthrow their houses. And when you look at it now, you got the migrants over here, man. Okay, it says for strangers shall reap their fruits. Hey, they're getting your money. They're getting the taxpayers' money. Okay, they're getting ready to be housed, taken care of, fed, offered jobs, and spoil their goods. Overthrow their houses and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine should they get children, man. Okay, because a lot of these people over here, these so-called migrants, are military personnel. You know, and they that occupy merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons, the more I would be angry with them for their sin, says the Lord, man. Okay? So this shit is getting ready to go down. But I'm going to end it there. The point is being made. All praises and glory and honor that's due to you. How about Shimi Hawashai? And with that, shalom and above. Shalom.
Hey, what's up, guys? John here. Bank of America just reported $131.6 billion in unrealized losses yesterday.
Bank of America, one of the worst performing bank stocks this year, down about 17%.
Those amounted to $131 billion in unrealized losses.
JP Morgan Chase sitting on over $40 billion in losses. The U.S. banking system is sitting on roughly $1.8 trillion in losses. And what's ultimately going to happen in the very near future is we're going to start to see, I believe, bank runs and a lot of people taking a lot of trust they had in the system out of the system. People are going to start to make different decisions because people are going to be very, very skeptical of what the future is going to look like and just how stable these financial institutions really are.
The message that sends is if you're a customer of a small bank, a regional bank, a community bank, and you've got a large account, you just better get your money out. There's no reason to leave it there. They can't pay you enough interest to compete with a money market. And what if the bank fails? You may be, SOL. And so there's a huge run, on these banks. So they're all going to fail. And the government, obviously, if it wants to bail out every one of these banks, the only way it can do it is by destroying the value of the deposits because of massive inflation. Because the money to bail out the banks has to be created by the Fed. It's the only way they're going to get it. The FDIC doesn't have any money.